made to love. If we can see our problems, ain't no change in us. We need to love each other. Why you hate your brother? Like we weren't made to love.
Don't even know him, but when you see him, you got an evil eye. Can't humble down for correction because of your pride. Same story, we done seen it way too many times. We got numb to the pain, we don't even cry. I done seen folks laugh, happy when somebody died. Scared of love full of hate cause they traumatized. The reality something you can't dramatize. We done took so many losses, we demoralized. Instead of hunger for the truth, we want more lies. Ain't no reverence, no respect for the Most High. The hate for each other, something that we can't hide. We think it's cool to have sex with a brother wife. She think it's normal and it's natural for her to be a thigh. We take it for granted that we even alive. What we want and God wants don't even align. See the error in our ways, we ain't even trying. We want followers on our G, not to follow Messiah. We look up to entertainers, worship idolize. Don't commit to the covenant, we commit crimes. That's why we stuck in this condition, we don't see the signs. You can't go off how you feel, you gotta use your mind. The most dangerous thing we got, but it's undermined. Can't force change, so I shine this little light of mine and lead an increase in change to the Most High.
Ain't no saving us. So much hate inside, like we were made to love. Yeah. We can see our problems, ain't no change in us. We need to love each other. Why you hate your brother? Like we were made to love.
Man, I know y'all gotta be tired of seeing your brothers getting killed, gunned down in the streets. You gotta be tired of going to prison, seeing your brothers going to prison. Y'all ain't tired of this? You don't want to try to do this another way? The Most High God got another way. We just got to be able to seek and find. And once we seek and find, we execute. Because it's got to be a better way. We got to learn how to love each other. Because all this hate ain't getting us nowhere. Am I the only one that see that this ain't getting us nowhere? We need to learn how to love, man.
No saving us. No saving us. Inside like we were made. Because we were made to love. Ain't no change in us. We need to love each other. Why you hate your brother? Like we weren't made to love.
Most of your homies in the grave, you ain't tired of it. The other ones incarcerated, you ain't tired of it. You been in and out of jail, but you ain't tired of it. You don't learn from your mistakes because you too proud of it. Can't trust the common narrative because they lying to it. We hold our own self-bag, don't be blind to it. Can't keep blaming the white man, look at how we moving. All these self-inflicted wounds got us going through it. The most influential people, but look at what we doing. We push these vain stereotypes all through the music. We say we tired, but we ain't tired till we start improving. We supposed to separate ourselves, but we want inclusion. We always talk about change, but we don't never do it. We always say we love God, but we don't really do it. Our hard head came with consequences, we going through it. Till we learn to love each other, we gon' forever lose.
That seems like ain't no saving us. Ain't no changing us. Hate inside like we were made. We were made, no. We can see our problems, ain't no change. We need to love each other. Why you hate your brother? Like we were made to love. 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 Like we were made to love.
He keep on blessing me. 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 He keep on blessing me.
God gave me, and let the devil take it, take it.
He keep on blessing me. He keep on blessing me. He keep on blessing me. He keep on blessing me.
God gave me, and let the devil take it, take it.
Sent his son to die for me. Never got tired of me. It's the Most High for me. Know he gon' slide for me. All in my trials with me. When I call on him, he listen. Gotta please my God, I'm persistent. With commitment, there's consistency. I'm prepared to go the distance. No Satan gon' stir stir up mischief to make it lose hope, that's his mission. God with me, who could be against me? With the vanity, you gon' have to miss me. I got joy even when I get afflicted. In the spirit, I gotta stay lifted. Devil crafty, can't let him trick me. I was wicked, but I repented. Dedicated my life, I meant it. Back then, used to serve in the trenches. Now I just wanna preach his word in the trenches. Holy Spirit right there to assist me. I'ma hit my shot, won't miss it. Producing more horsepower like pistons. Eternal life, yeah, that's my mission. He keep on blessing me. He keep on blessing me.
God gave me, and let the devil take it.
He keep on blessing me. He keep on blessing me. He keep on blessing me. He keep on blessing me.
God gave me, and let the devil take it.
Gotta live by the Great Commission. Make disciples and preach repentance. The wicked ones gon' feel attention. Lake of fire ain't no detention. Won't waste my time, I entertain dissension. 2/3 ain't never gon' get it. Peculiar people ain't never gon' fit it. I speak truth, I don't care about feelings. Fair not, cause your house I didn't. Hard still, I'm standing on business. No fear, the enemy ain't winning. I know the gospel, so I gotta defend it. Can't love God if you're practicing it. Your pastor lied, you can tell him I said it. We can debate the lie. Better make him look silly, I don't take credit. Your house gets the victory. Ain't got short time and it ain't no mystery. Same old tricks, you can check the history. Kill, steal, destroy, you know what his mission be. Master at the deception, but ain't deceiving me. A child of the promise, man, I'm truly blessed to be firm in my faith. Never take the joy from me. The Most High carry out judgment, frequently obedient to his law, so he keep on blessing me.
Shalom, family. One of the most important things is for us to be holy. Now, what does that mean? That means we have to separate ourselves from the world and build unity and community. Grab yourself a shirt that expresses that message, and let's not just talk about it, let's live it.
Ain't no free will, it's all predestinated. From every death to every child brought forth through copulation. From the spouse that you choose to your current occupation, you either receive mercy or your hour's indignation. I can recollect on times that I could have been dead. Caught lacking, no strap, I had a knife instead. Played it cool, he wanted to kill me for how I used to move. Had to match his energy, portray that I was strapped too. But inside I'm praying to God, hoping he don't shoot. Still I'm whooping, telling him I know what. It ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. Salvation. It ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. Salvation. It ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. Yeah, many you call, but few get chosen. Matthew 22:14. My righteousness gonna exceed that of the Pharisees. Do what they. Shalom, 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 Mark, shalom, family.
Hey, Shalom, family. Shalom, Mark.
Khan, shalom. So first we want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, whose name is Yahweh, and we do so by Shem, Hamashiach Yahweh. By Shem just means in the name of his only begotten Son, who most around the world know as Jesus Christ. His name is Yahweh. And we are thankful to be able to join y'all again tonight for another chapter breakdown. And the title for the lesson is the Johannine Epistles breakdown. 2 John chapter 1, and Aaron will be bringing forward the lesson. And the water for everybody that's tuned in, we appreciate you for your comments, for your likes, and for your shares. And if you haven't already, we ask you to hit the like on the like button on the video to make sure you like the video, and also share it so that the visibility can increase for those that are watching on YouTube. And same on Facebook, but we definitely rather you be tuning in with us from YouTube instead of Facebook. So if you haven't, if you are watching on Facebook, the YouTube is just type in Hurt 2.0 or Flow Like Water and it'll pop up. So all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Ak, you got anything? And shalom, Sister Wendy and Sister Diamond.
Con, all praises to the Most High. Yeah, man, just like always, all praises to the Most High. Of course, first and foremost, we can never say that enough. Shout out to everyone that's tuned in, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. Just like always, if you are on YouTube, make sure to like the video, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already, and that's going to keep you up to date with all of the releases, the live streams, the uploads, so on and so forth. So make sure you're tapped in on that. And on Facebook, make sure to like/heart the video. There's a YouTube link. We appreciate, all of the support and everything like that. We definitely don't take it for granted. So, the Water family, we appreciate you so much in advance. And yeah, just as a brother mentioned tonight, another epistle, another John epistle, as you can see in the title, is Second John chapter. I'll pass it back to you in case you got anything else, King.
Con, and you were just cutting out a little bit on my end. I don't know if you were on everyone else's end. Y'all, when Aaron was speaking, if he was clear and not choppy, put a 1 in the chat just so we know, so we can be prepared to make any changes if the audio isn't coming through correctly. And Shalom, Sister T Soul, Sister Shantia. And yeah, I don't have anything else. You could go ahead. Okay, too. So Sister Wendy said you were choppy. So let's see if it's something we can do to make sure we don't have any interruption in the audio. And you can get your screen shared out. Shalom, Mat Paraz.
God, for sure. Am I good so far? Am I good?
Yes, sir.
God.
Yeah, and at any time, y'all, if he gets choppy, just put a 2 in the chat and we'll know.
God, the water in advance. God, so yeah, once again, peace and blessings, family. First off, I'll start by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, and I'll do so in the name of His beloved Son, Yahweh Shai the Anointed. And again, I hope everyone is well on this beloved evening. Of course, appreciate y'all tuning in, tapping in with us. The lesson for tonight, as I went over before, is Second John, the first chapter, and again another edition of the Johannine epistle. So, we just continuing to roll on with that. And as far as the audience of this congregation, again, it's Jews who follow Christ in the area of Asia Minor, specifically more than likely they're in Ephesus, just like the first epistle. So a similar audience, just a different church or a different church in the local vicinity. So we're going to jump into it, and we'll start off with the first 2 verses of Second John chapter 1.
Con. This is 2 John, and I'm starting at verse 1, chapter 1, verse 1. The elder to the elect lady and her children, whom I love in truth, and not only I, but also all who know the truth, because of the truth that abides in us and will be with us forever.
Con. So it starts off by clarifying who the writer is. And right here it says the writer is the elder, and the addressee, or the person being addressed, is the elect lady and her children. And the elder here is understood to most likely be John himself or a close co-laborer of John, right? And we see this particular formula as far as, how an elder will address himself, used by other apostles or different significant leaders throughout the New Testament. And just to show an example, let's jump to the book of First Peter chapter 5 and verse 1.
And get it on your screen too.
God.
This is First Peter chapter 5 and verse 1. So I exhort the elders among you as a fellow elder and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, as well as a partaker in the glory that is going to be revealed.
God. So right there, we see that Peter, he exhorts the elders or the church leaders that he's speaking to in the specific cities throughout Asia Minor, and he mentions that he is an elder as well. So that's one example. Let's go to another. Let's go to Philemon chapter 1 verse 9. and I'll put it on the screen.
Con. Yet for love's sake, I prefer to appeal to you. I, Paul, an old man, and now a prisoner, also for Christ Jesus or Hamashiach Yahushua.
Con. So the Apostle Paul, he says a similar thing, but right here he calls himself an old man and appeals more so to his age rather than his status as in like a church leader or an elder. But even still, we see that, you know, in Paul's epistles and, throughout the book of Acts, Paul is addressing elders and giving them charges and exhortation, as we see the other apostles and leaders do, like with Peter, John, so on and so forth. So I just wanted to highlight that point. We could jump back to Second John, and we could just read 1 through 3. We're gonna traverse through this chapter.
Con. The elder to the elect lady and her children, whom I love in truth, and not only I, but also all who know the truth, because of the truth that abides in us and will be with us forever. Grace, mercy, and peace will be with us from God the Father and from Jesus Christ, or Hamashiach Yahushua, the Father, Son, in truth and love. And Aki, do have a question in the chat also.
Let me see. Could the elect be Israel? The elect certainly is Israel. Um, Absolutely, because we see in the book of Isaiah and obviously other places as well, Israel is called the elect. And of course, all of these people that John is speaking to, or the writer of Second John is speaking to, they're emphatically Israelites. They're definitely not. I'm glad you pointed that out too. None of the It's not like a mix of Jews and Gentiles. Is all Israelites that are being addressed, and all of these things as far as the truth, the promises, the light, all of those things pertain to the Israelites and were given to them in order for them to repent and come back to the Most High and follow after it. So, in a general sense, absolutely, the elect lady would be Israel because we see that specific language throughout the prophets. And then also it's the church, as an aggregate, or as I would say a total collection, because Israel is the church. So, we definitely walk in that line, King.
Con.
Can you read what I have? Can you read verse 3 one more time?
Con, yes, sir. Grace, mercy, and peace will be with us from God the Father and from Hamashiach Yahushua, the Father, Son, in truth and love.
God. So as we went through the first 3 verses, the elder, which is the leader of the body, which is a leader within the body of Yahushua, he wrote to the elect lady and her children, which represents the church, as we went through, disciples made up of that church. And then as we went through in verse 2, it goes on to say, because of the truth that abides in us and will be with us forever, right? Which communicates that this audience that is loved by the elder in the truth is loved by all who know the truth, and they are loved by them in the truth because the truth in them abides in them and will be with them forever. And so this particular saying and sentiment, it takes us back a few chapters in First John. We're gonna pull it up, right? First John chapter 3. We're gonna
Con,
read verses, let's get it up on the screen, verses 22 through 24.
con, and whatever we ask, we receive from him, because we keep his commandments and we do what pleases him. And this is his commandment, that we believe in the name of his Son, Jesus Christ, or Hamashiach Yahushua, and love one another, just as he has commanded us. Whoever keeps his commandments abides in God, and God in him. And by this we know that he abides in us, by the Spirit whom he has given us.
God, God. So the text said, whatever we ask of the Most High, we receive because we keep His commandments, and we do the things that please Him. And this chiefly encompasses believing on the Most High's Son and loving one another as He instructed. Then when you jump all the way down to verse 24, it said, "Whoever keeps His commandments abides in the Most High, and us in Him." And we know that the Most High abides in us via His Spirit, that He's given to us, and this will remain in us as long as we continue to adhere to the Most High's word, right? So again, like when you're reading these statements, and just specifically throughout, let's just say the New Testament. Of course, in the Old Testament is clear, but you always want to make sure that if you see just a blanket statement, there's typically, like some type of contingency plan. So if a good thing is promised to you, and it's like, yeah, you're gonna remain, whatever you ask for, you'll receive, right? And some people, they'll just read it like that, and whatever the case is, and they don't got to do anything, and whatever, and God is just going to give them what they want. They don't got to do nothing for it. They just got to have faith. But as we read throughout, many examples within just the epistles of John, it's a contingency plan set in place. You have to remain in truth. You have to walk after the light. You have to keep the commandments, do the things that are pleasing to the Most High. So all of these things, they work in tandem. So like when we get all the way back to Second John chapter 1 and verse 2, when it says, put it back on the screen, when it says that the truth, put it back on your screen. So it says that the truth abides in us and will be with us forever, because that truth, when you continue on in context, go back to First John, it's speaking about the message of the gospel, which prompts us, to do what we have to do to inherit those promises, which is repentance, right? And again, something I want to make mention of, because I've touched on this in the John epistles, but the gospel refers to the restoration of Israel, which is, catalyzed by the work that the Most High did through the Messiah. So all of those things that we look forward to receiving, as far as the life, the kingdom, all of that, we don't receive that unless we repent and we walk after the Messiah and do all of these things. So of course it's written as if, yeah, the truth is going to abide in us forever, and we're going to, walk after the light, and we're going to be with Him. But that's contingent upon if you walk after the Most High. And just like the comment says, but faith without works is dead. So again, you don't just receive the good things and please the Most High via having, a belief or a confidence that, yeah, God is going to do this, and there's nothing desired or required of me. There are things desired and required of you. So excellent comment. And brother Hurt, you got any points before we move on?
Not at this time, huh?
Con. We could jump down. You could read verses 3 through 6.
Con. Grace, mercy, and peace will be with us from God the Father and from Jesus Christ, Hamashiach Yahweh, the Father's Son, in truth and love. I rejoice greatly to find some of your children walking in the truth, just as we were commanded by the Father. And now I ask you, dear lady, not as though I were writing you a new commandment, but the one we have had from the beginning, that we love one another. And this is love, that we walk according to His commandments. This is the commandment, just as you have heard from the beginning, so that you should walk in it.
Con. Classifies God as the Father.
You just got a little choppy, but I'm pretty
choppy.
sure you said, I'm pretty sure you said this classifies God as the Father, right?
Yep. Hey, am I still choppy?
You good now?
Con. Okay. Yeah, I think I got something I could switch to worst case, but I think I should be good. But
You should.
yeah, just as I was mentioning in verse 3, it classifies God as the Father, and then it delineates the Most High, or God the Father, from the Son Yahweh Shai, and calls the Messiah the Father's Son. And right there, that's just a quick display that Yahweh Shai isn't the Father. So that's one side note, sidebar, so on and so forth. But in verse 4, we see that the author says he rejoiced greatly to find some of the children walking in truth, just as we're commanded by the Father. And this all refers back to, in the first John epistle, where we learn about walking in the light and by the word or God's logos. And again, that's why the next verse, when you continue on, in verse 5, it reiterates the commandment that they learned from the beginning, which was to love one another. And as we went through, I believe in First John 2 and in the other chapters, we showed the correlations to what Christ taught, in the context of the beginning within the epistles, and how the beginning, a lot of times it'll reference the start of their walk, within the faith. And how this particular commandment that they received in the beginning, it was derived from the Torah, obviously, as we could read clearly, but it was also taught via the Messiah himself, when he was, on the earth teaching his people. But just real quick, we can grab that in the law just as a quick refresher, because a lot of things that are going to come up in this epistle, we've seen a lot of it echoed in the prior chapters, but it's, again, Second John 2 or Second John 1 is, a quick punch, beautiful saying. So we're going to grab Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 18. I'll put it on the screen. Oh, you on mute, King.
Salakin. I said, yeah, I just want to make a point before we read that.
Okay, you got it.
That I just love, like all throughout the New Testament, that whenever it's even if it's the apostles or if it's Yahweh, we see that they always make mention of, hey, this ain't a new commandment. This is something you've had from the beginning. That they reiterate that and they repeat this over and over again throughout the New Testament. And I just love to see it and understand it, knowing that we understand it. But at the same time, it's just a glaring reminder that people they just reject it, they neglect it, they act like it don't exist when dealing with how they teach the New Testament. It make it seem as if the Old Testament is just irrelevant. But yeah, I'll go ahead and read this. But go ahead, Ak, you can say something.
No, I was saying facts. That's a good point.
So Leviticus 19 and 18, and it reads, "You shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against the sons of your own people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am Yahweh."
So right here, we see that we aren't to take vengeance or bear a grudge against our people. And as we learn in I believe it was First John chapter 3 and also Genesis 4, we see that Cain, he took vengeance against his brother. And as we see by the New Testament writers, this was a very negative, and I'm putting it very, very lightly, very negative example. So we see right here is a negative example, and we see that the Torah instructs against this, right? And so in the latter clause, it says to love our people as we do ourselves. And Yahweh within the New Testament, he reinforces this teaching and provides a practical takeaway on how to demonstrate the love towards your people. Now, before I grab the verse, 'cause I'm gonna show that real quick. Before I grab the verse, I want to show y'all the Hebrew word for for neighbor right here in Leviticus 19, and I thought it was really interesting. And y'all are gonna see the complete parallel when we read in John, right? But if you can just read for me, we see his Hebrew word H7453. It's Rhea. Just read for me the definition and the outline of biblical usage.
Con. So this is the Strong's definition from H7462. An associate, more or less close. Brother, companion, fellow, friend, husband, lover, neighbor, another.
Then there's a biblical usage.
Friend, companion, fellow, another person. Friend, intimate. Fellow citizen, another person weaker sense. Other, another reciprocal phrase.
Con, So we see the meaning for the word neighbor here. It carries the meaning or understanding of one that you could be related to. So it would be a fellow citizen. And typically within our circumstances as children of Israel, although we would all be citizens of the nation of Israel, we're all kin anyway. That's one point to keep in mind. But it also can carry the connotation of one that would be a companion, or you would have a companionship with, or some type of dealings, right? Or a friend, or so on and so forth. So what the Torah is teaching, or what we learn in the Torah, is that we're to love these people, including, just the average Israelite, that's of our people, that's of the nation of Israel. We're supposed to love them, but also our friends and them that we're close to as well. And like you would think that this is like just super obvious, but we had to be commanded this, because even as you've seen with Cain, that type of situation, he had, he was corrupted by the wicked one, right? So again, this is something that's clearly outlined in the Torah, and the elders within the Johannine community, or the Johannine community, they would have derived the commandment from that. Now, let's look at the Messiah teaching this. Let's go to the book of John, chapter 15. We're going to read verses 12 through 13.
And I just want to say that's a beautiful point. And I also just make a point about the way that today in society, just in America, the way that neighbor is used when we look at it from that standpoint. What does neighbor mean? Like when we, as far as in our living space, in our community, our neighbor are those people who stay close to us, next to us. That's intimacy. So it's the same thing that we see in the scripture about your neighbor being someone that's intimate, someone that's close, someone you're related to. You're not, I live on Autumndale. Someone that lives on Raven Street, which is across the city, isn't my neighbor in that sense. So same way, same type of sense with the scriptures. Your neighbor will be those that are closely linked with you or connected to you. But yeah, beautiful point out, bringing it out.
All praise the water.
Con. So you want to read 12 and 13?
Con.
Con. This is John chapter 15 and starting at verse 12, reading through 13. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends.
Con. So the commandment from the Messiah is to love one another as he loved us. And this refers to his example of selflessness and compassion towards his people. And, of course, obedience toward the Most High, and the love and compassion he had toward his people.
You got a little
And that's why
choppy.
you even a little choppy.
Last 10 seconds. And you on mute too, out. Okay, I see what you're doing. You're trying to get another audio device.
How am I sounding?
Not good at all. Staticky. Yeah, just probably need to go back to the other one after let you know when you messed up.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds bad. That sounds awful. Dang, I mean, no wonder though. It's an iPad. I didn't expect anything less than what I just heard when I saw Aaron iPad pop up on the screen. If you talking, you on mute out. Okay, he probably going out and coming back in. Y'all give us a second. It shouldn't take too long.
Mic check.
Yes, sir. There you go.
See that? Kind, kind. Yeah, throughout it, yeah. But all praises to the Most High. Got that figured out. So
Con,
yeah. So as far as John chapter 15, verse 12 through 13, we see that the Messiah, he commanded us to love one another as he loved us. And this is in his example of selflessness and compassion towards people, and obedience to his God, right? Those are the main things in the Messiah's example of loving his people, and him commanding us to love one another as he loved us. And that's why, just dealing with the compassion part, that's why the scriptures speak about how Yahweh Shai, he was moved to compassion when he saw his people and how they lacked a shepherd, roughly paraphrasing. So again, this is the example in which we have to deal with one another. We can't we can't set our arbitrary standard of loving our people and just leaving it there. But we have a specific example and someone that left practical steps on how to do so, right? We have a full list of accounts and how we dealt with one another and how Yahweh Shai dealt with his people. And when you look at verse 13, he said, "No greater love than if one lays down their life for their friends." And when you go into that word for friend, you'll see that it's a Greek equivalent to the Hebrew word for neighbor that we just went into, which is reah.
con,
Speaking to it as neighbor or friend, in some translations and some verses. So, to continue on, if we do the things he instructs of us, we demonstrate that we're friends of the Messiah, right? Or we're companions of his. And to, bring it home, the main point is that based on the book of First John and Second John, this is the manner in which we're to love our people. We have to have compassion on them and lay down our lives for them as the Messiah did. Especially if we're building relationships with different people. We're saying certain words to people. We're taking pictures, handshakes. You shalom in a brother or a sister. You know, all of these posts, it shouldn't stop there, but it should continue on. When you see a brother or sister in need, you should have that compassion toward them. And even at the very extreme, be willing to put your life on the line. And we even went through that in First John chapter 3. But before I continue on, you got any points, King?
la la
God, kind all praises to the Most High. Um, let's jump back to Second John. You could just read verse. You can jump down to verse because I think we went through
Think we
5
went
and 6. So let's jump down. Consular, you get me?
yeah.
Con. Um, just read 7 through 11.
Con. For many deceivers have gone out into the world, those who do not confess the coming of Jesus Christ in the flesh. Such a one is the deceiver and the antichrist. Watch yourselves so that you may not lose what we have worked for, but may win a full reward. Everyone who goes on ahead and does not abide in the teaching of Hamashiach does not have God. Whoever abides in the teaching has both the Father and the Son. If anyone comes to you and does not bring this teaching, do not receive him into your house or give him any greeting, for whoever greets him takes part in his wicked works.
Mm.
Mm.
Con. So right here we see that the writer, he said in verse 7, many deceivers have gone out into the world. And contextually, as we read in verse 7, these deceivers are classified as antichrist. And their doctrine is that they concede to Yahweh Shai Hamashiach not coming in the flesh. Now, as we touched in First John chapter 2 and also chapter 4, the direct heresy in context is called docetism. And just real quick, I'm not going to go like super deep into it, but I'm going to put this source on the screen so y'all could see a little bit of what this goes into. And if you can, just let me, can you see this?
Yes, sir. You want to
Con.
read it, highlight it?
Yeah, just to highlight it. And just to cite the source, this is from Jesus According to the New Testament by James D.G. Dunn. But you can read it, King.
So like it. Okay, kind of. In the light of what we have just noted, it is quite hard to avoid the question, did John go too far? Even more serious is the fact that John seems to have appealed more to Gnostics than he did to others. Gnosticism made a sharp distinction between flesh and spirit, so that the Johannine Christ was very appealing to them. It was not difficult for them to see the Johannine Christ in docetic terms. That is, the belief that Jesus only appeared in the flesh, seemed to be flesh.
Con. So right here, what basically what this is speaking to is John's epistles or his literature as a whole, um, from the gospels, to the epistles, they seem to appeal to or address Gnostics in their understanding or lack thereof. And to reiterate, their misunderstanding was that flesh and only seemed to be in the flesh, but he wasn't really a person with a fleshly body. So this right here is the historical background to the deceivers and the antichrist motif that you'll see in the Johannine epistles. But as we can see, a core tenet of what's denied is that Yahweh Shai the Anointed came in the flesh, right? That's what the denial is. And today, you have some that teach doctrines that maintain docetism's issue, as far as Yahweh Shai not coming in the flesh. You have your resident non-messianic OT only. You have your resident atheists, and you have others, who don't believe the man Yahweh Shai was the Messiah and actually existed in the flesh. So this is an actual issue that still exists today, even outside of the historical heresy that the epistles were carrying. Like they're still applicable. Got to move on.
Did you just
You
ask me, did I have anything before we moved on?
Con.
Yeah, you cut out when you said it, but I don't have anything. I kind of knew what you said though, but it got choppy. But all praise the Most High, you was able to get through your point before it did that.
Con. I don't know what's going on, man. I was, and we know what's crazy. Just a side note, everything was perfect before I got on. I wasn't having any issues, but that's how things go. See,
Yeah,
people saying why the Wi-Fi, but I don't think that's it, because like none
yeah,
of my other devices are having that issue. But that's a side note.
yeah. I don't think it's one.
Um,
I think it's Apple. But,
con. Man.
Gotta get some
Man, that's hilarious, man. All praise to the Most High.
God.
Yeah, all praise to the Most High, man. For Apple, man, all praises. But can can you read for me one more time verses 8 through 9?
Con,
I'm sorry, verses 8 through 11.
con. Watch yourself so that you may not lose what we have worked for, but may win a full reward. Everyone who goes on ahead and does not abide in the teaching of Christ does not have God. And that verse 8 just killed that once saved, always saved doctrine. But if anyone comes to you and does not bring this teaching, do not receive him into your house or give him any greeting. No shalom for him. For whoever greets him takes part in his wicked works.
Man. Yeah, and that's a good point that you made too. Um, as far as the killing the once saved, always saved, that's an excellent point. But as we seen in verse 8, it said for them to watch themselves so that they don't lose what they worked for, but but that they win their reward. And the reward in this context would encompass the kingdom, eternal life, and the promises that these things entail. And we read in earlier chapters that they abide in Yahweh and with his son if they walk in the light. But just as we read before, it's the same way here. If you're led astray into darkness, then you'll obviously be removed from that, fellowship or being in union with the Most High, his son, his people. And you'll see that specifically in First John, as we went in that first chapter, the whole theme was fellowship and union with the Most High, the Son, and the rest of the people that's actually in the truth. And of course, walking in the light, I want to reemphasize this. Walking in the light is not something ambiguous, that people try to say, like, oh, walk in the spirit, walk in the light, and it's just something arbitrary. But this refers to you walking after what the Most High God instructed, which are his laws, his commandments, his statutes. And this is epitomized by the example his son displayed, right? So I just wanted to again just harp on that point. But as we continue on in verses 10 through 11, right, or even speaking, to more of 8 all the way down to 11, it takes into account that these particular people that are classified as deceivers and antichrists and them that disregard the teaching of the Messiah, they what they do is they negate what's taught of the Messiah by the apostles and what the Messiah actually taught. So this would chiefly include, the Messiah's mission, why he came to, help his people, and then also his identity as well as his existence. These people would be deceivers, and you're not supposed to receive them, because as you look, all the way in verse 11, that demonstrates that you're actually in fellowship with their wickedness, right? And when you look into that Greek word, matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up, right? When you look into this Greek word for take part, I believe it literally says to be in union. Let me put it on the screen for y'all. And if you can, good brother, can you just read CSG 2841? Could you read the definition and the outline of usage?
Con. This is Strong's definitions. Koinoneo from G2844, to share with others, objectively or subjectively, communicate, distribute, be partaker.
Gone.
Outline of biblical usage: to come into communion or fellowship with, to become a sharer, be made a partner, to enter into fellowship, join oneself to an associate, make oneself a sharer or partner.
Gone. Gone. So right there, as we see in verse 11 in Second John chapter 1, it's a very serious issue, as far as receiving somebody that's understood as a deceiver, and they're teaching heresies and awful and wicked doctrines about, the Messiah's identity or his mission, or him even existing. You shouldn't receive these particular people. And as I mentioned, the historical context, this was dealing with Docetists, right? Or people that adhere to the heresy of Docetism. But again, like just utilizing the wisdom and the tenets that made up Docetism, you could apply this to your resident heretics today. And as we read throughout the other apostles, he said, after the third admonition, rejecting heretic. So, like this is something that is echoed by the apostles. But before I move on, you got any points, King?
I was gonna tell you had chopped up for a minute, but I think everybody probably understood what you were referencing about after the first and second admonition, second and third admonition to reject, because it kind of chopped up while you were saying it, but
All right. Okay,
nah,
I got you. Con. Well, all praises. We can wrap it up. If you can just go through verses 12 to 13.
come. Though I have much to write to you, I would rather not use paper and ink. Instead, I hope to come by, Salaki, I hope to come to you and talk face to face, so that our joy may be complete. The children of your elect sister greet you.
Con. So the writer here, he says he has more to say, but within the letter, he keeps it brief because he plans to come visit them at some point. And when you read like just the end of verse 12, it says, so that our joy may be complete. And what this does is two things. It shows you that it's very likely that the writer of First John is the same writer of Second John, because the writer of First John, he says the same thing in First John chapter 1 verse 4. He says, so that our joy may be complete. He says the exact same thing. So this shows um the jargon consistency, and the again, like the consistency of them exhorting the audience. And yeah, man, and again, verse 13, it deals with the elect sister, which it's debated on like what the historical context is, but what the majority lean towards this being a local church that's a part of the body of Yahweh Shai. So again, he's dealing with different people that's in Ephesus and Asia Minor, so on and so forth. But yeah, man, this is all of Second John chapter 1. We could
And all of Second
um
John.
yeah, all of Second John. Is no more chapters. No more
All right.
chapters of Second John. You know what I'm saying? So very short epistle. He even said it himself, hey, like I got more to say, but I don't want to use ink and paper.
All right.
So he wanted to keep this brief. So that's everything. Lord willing, this was helpful to somebody. Um, I'll take any questions if there are any. Salakia family for my connection apparently, or my device, or whatever the case is. But Lord willing, it was helpful to somebody. But I yield to you in case you got any points, King.
Con. Shalom, Sister Andrea. So I think with verse 12 is showing how important it is for us as brothers and sisters to congregate together, because he had more to write or more to say, and he's like, you know what, I'd rather not just write this down. I'd rather wait till we see each other. And he ends with saying, after talking face to face, that our joy will be complete. And that's what we understand. Like, even with like texting nowadays, we text each other. Some things you can't properly give the strength of by just texting it. Sometimes you got to talk to people. You got to communicate with them verbally so that they can understand it the way that you mean it the way that you want to express it, because just reading the text is not going to come out the same way. So I think, at the end of this letter, it's just showing us and helping us to understand that it's important to be able to meet face to face, to come together face to face, because it's different from phone calls. It's different from text messages. It's different from just like us with these lessons. We teach these lessons, and some of y'all we ain't met. We ain't never met you before. But, we try to have feast days and try to schedule where, hey, invitations on the table. Y'all want to come meet with us and congregate with us, you can. Because it's better to come together and congregate than just to be so far away from each other and never see each other. That's what makes our joy complete. That's what makes the love of the Most High complete. But yeah, all praise to the Most High. Beautiful lesson. Can't convey the sense of the message entirely in text. I can be texting somebody and then, it get to a certain point. I'm like, let me just call, because like this ain't gonna cut it. We need to converse, because it's so much. It's only so much you can write. I was just actually doing that on one of the statuses on my page, talking with a brother, and I'm like, hey, we'll chop it up, because all this back and forth texting, man, and then it's more time. You waste time sitting there texting when you can converse with somebody. But yeah, all praise to the Most High.
God, all praise to the Most High. Excellent point, the water for bringing that out as well, King.
For sure. And the lesson was good, regardless of the choppiness. It just happened a few times, so all praise to the Most High for it being just a few times.
God, yeah. Also out the water.
Then it did it right then, but all praise to the Most High anyway.
God. Yeah, man, if there'll be nothing else, we can close it out with Numbers chapter 6 and verse 24 on down. And it reads thus: and so Yahweh will bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh will make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh will lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. And with that, I'll say shalom.
Shalom, Mark. Shalom, family.
Shalom, family. One of the most important things is for us to be holy. Now, what does that mean? That means we have to separate ourselves from the world and build unity and community. Grab yourself a shirt that expresses that message, and let's not just talk about it, let's live it.
Matthew 22 and 14. My righteousness gonna exceed that of the